Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode. In this podcast, I'll be exploring how two heroines, Gretchen from Sweetly by Jackson Pierce and Ash from Ash by Melinda Lowe, develop their identities through fear, loss, and ultimately courage. Even though these stories come from different genres, one a contemporary fairy tale retelling and the other a queer reimagining of Cinderella, both characters start in places shaped by trauma. And yet, both transform into someone stronger than the choices they make. Today, we'll look at how each girl builds a new identity and why seeing these two perspectives side by side helps us understand young adult literature more deeply. Part 1. Starting in Fear and Grief. Both Gretchen and Ash begin their stories defined by emotions they can't control. For Gretchen, that emotion is fear. Early and sweetly, she admits, "I've never known myself without it." Fear has become a part of who she is, rooted in the day her twin sister vanished into the woods. Every decision she makes is shaped by that trauma. Ash's starting point is grief. After losing both parents and being forced into servitude, she finds herself suffocating in her reality. In one early scene, Lowe writes, she felt smothered by the church walls, and she escapes outside to breathe. Later, her grief overwhelms her again. When the memories came, Ash felt her heart constrict. She did not know how to make it stop. Both girls begin with identities built from survival, not choice. They are holding on, not moving forward. Part 2. Reaching for something new. But neither girl stays trapped. For Gretchen, the first shift happens when she grows closer to Samuel and her brother, Ansel. She reaches a breaking point and admits, quote, "I'm just sick of feeling helpless." Not long after, she declares, quote, "I can't be afraid any longer." These moments reveal her stepping away from her fear as identity and toward action as identity. Ash begins her shift in a quieter way. When she willingly seeks out the fairy Sean, she tells him, quote, "I came to find you." For someone buried in grief, this is a moment of agency, a step toward a self she chooses, not one forced on her. Her strongest turning point comes through her connection with Kaisa, the king's huntress. When Ash finally gathers her courage and admits, quote, "I was waiting for you," she takes ownership of her desires, her future, and her identity. Part 3. Choosing a new identity. Both novels show that identity is not something that simply happens to these girls. It's something that they must build. Gretchen's transformation becomes literal action. She refuses to be hunted anymore, saying, staying like this, being the victim, won't bring her back. She steps forward, not away from danger, reinventing herself as someone strong enough to face what she has terrified her all her life. Ash's transformation is emotional, but equally powerful. When Kaisa invites her to join the hunt, Ash says, quote, "I will try," and Lo tells us she had never wanted anything more in her life. She chooses the life she wants, not the one she inherited through loss. Both characters reclaim their identities through action, trust, and courage. Part 4. Why multiple perspectives and why literature matter. Looking at these two characters side by side shows us something important about young adult literature. Different perspectives helping us understand the big ideas more quickly. Sweetly and Ash come from different genres, cultures, and emotional tones. But when we compare them, patterns emerge. We start to see that identity can form through confrontation, like Gretchen fighting her fear, or through connection, like Ash choosing love and belonging. Both paths are valid, and both reveal different sides of what it means to grow up. YA literature thrives on this kind of variety. By exploring many voices and experiences, readers get a fuller picture of courage, healing, and self-discovery. When we read characters like Gretchen and Ash together, the differences between them actually makes the theme of identity clearer. There isn't just one single way to be yourself. Instead, there are many, and each perspective adds a piece to our understanding. And a little side note, I want to add just my perspective too about some of the books I read growing up. I was really into dystopian books in like middle school, like The Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, and I feel like when you hear multiple perspectives, I know especially when it comes to like action or like a dystopian, meaning like the society's crashing or they're under some like what's the word, like dictatorship. You see the, like in Hunger Games, there's the rebellion, and you see people like making change and like, you know, taking on harder roles. I know Katniss takes on kind of a parental role because her mother couldn't be there presently after her dad passed away, and her hunting for the family, and just like, I feel like it's good for kids to look up to people like that. Like, I feel like as a kid, everyone has that one superhero that you're obsessed with, and you know, I feel like for me that was kind of the characters I read, was like Katniss in Hunger Games, or like Harry in Harry Potter, or Percy Jackson. Like, all of those books I had growing up kind of inspired me to be more kind of vocal and assertive. And yeah, going on to my final thoughts. In the end, both Gretchen and Ash begin in fear and loss, but they don't stay there. They grow into identities they choose, identities shaped by bravery, hope, and trust. And when we look at both perspectives together, we gain a deeper understanding of what young adult literature can learn about becoming someone new. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Until next time, keep reading, keep reflecting, and keep discovering the stories that help shape who you are.